If you eat black chana with white rice at night, you're going to get a stomachache. Let's say you hear this bit of information from various sources. Your grandmother tells you, your neighbor who had black chana with white rice, who got a terrible stomachache and told you. An Ayurveda Charya whom you do not personally know, who is qualified, wears a white coat, is telling you. You hear it from a random viral video. You hear it on a website that claims to know something about herbal remedies. Who would you trust? Perhaps if you're like me, you would not really trust any of them with the news and actually go and have the black chana with white rice to see if you get a stomachache and whether this bit of information is right for you. Now, that is a simple thing. Even if you do get a stomachache, something as simple as soda lime could cure it. But what happens when the information is more serious? What happens if you're listening to something like there's going to be another viral outbreak? What happens when you hear that there's an attack at the border? What happens if you hear that there is going to be another tsunami? What happens when it is more serious? Where is your most trusted source of information? Where are your resources? Are they people? Are they internet? Are there websites? Are there books? For something like black chana and white rice, an experiment works. Okay, or maybe I would trust my grandmother because she has enough experience. But when it comes to something like, let's say, a clash at the border, I can't trust my grandmother for that. She wouldn't know. Who would you go to? Where would you go? Because there's a deluge of false information and propaganda on the internet. Where would you go? When it comes to TV channels, you're going to ask yourself, who owns it? Who has got a propaganda? Who's got a selfish motive? Who's got an axe to grind? So you're going to have to filter that. So for various kinds of information, we probably have to rely on different sources. When it comes to a border clash with another country, it's quite likely that the national sources can be trusted, but maybe not always, because in a war situation, you never really know what's happening till later, or maybe not even then, because some of the information has to be confidential. And then there is a whole lot of false propaganda done by all sides because they want to create a certain impression on the minds of the masses. Now, if you have an alert mind, you'll know that. You want to know the truth. So where do we get it? Because we can't be there at the border. We can't actually go and try put ourselves at risk and see if you're going to get a deadly viral disease or not. Where are we going to test things? So for different sources, for different kinds of information, we have to tap different sources, but we always have to ask ourselves, what is in it for the source? Who is doing this and why? Who is giving this information and why? Then is there a contradictory bit of information, and can we go to that resource also? So it's a treacherous world that we are living in. Too much information has become a deluge. It's become mind fog. It is mind boggling. Perhaps the Jnani is one who doesn't go into all kinds of information and is content to not know a whole lot of things. But then what happens when we do want to know? We can't remain in a bubble. So for where experiments are possible, we do them. Where experiments are not possible or not a great idea because it's going to put ourselves at risk, we try to go to the most authentic source. And always we have to ask ourselves, what is authentic? Look at contradictory bits of information, then see. Filter out when you have only one kind of mindset coming through, filter out. So there is a whole lot of critical thinking that is involved, and we have to ask ourselves constantly whether something is done for propaganda, whether it is done for being viral, whether the authenticity is being drowned by the gimmicks for making things, slick, eye candy, that kind of stuff. So we need to be critical, we need to be on our toes, and we need to judge through our own critical sense whether a source or a resource is authentic or not, and then come to some kind of an idea whether this bit of information is trustworthy or not.